A Goofy movie is still a good movie. Wow, I know, crazy claim, right? But what makes it so good? Is it the fact that it cleverly disguises itself as High School Musical 4? Is it the nostalgia boner talking? Or is it because it's truly a well-written movie with great life lessons involved? Well, while all of these reasons are valid, I think the third one is a bit more interesting, so I'll focus on that for this video. For those of you who have been living under a rock and haven't seen this masterpiece, this movie is about a father, his son, and life. So that is why I ask that you keep your parents and even your relationship with other relatives in mind while watching this video, even if you hate them. That's actually kind of fitting because the relationship between Goofy and his son Max starts off pretty weak. The love is one-sided, with Goofy doing everything in his power to express his love towards his son. Max, on the other hand, doesn't really like talking to his dad or spending any quality time with him, and is clearly embarrassed by him. Max has insecurity issues that extend outside of his home. He cares way too much about gaining popularity and proving people wrong, as a lot of high schoolers do. He also has a crush on this girl named Roxanne. However, he is extremely shy and does everything in his power to impress her. Their interactions with each other start off pretty awkward, with both of them acting like it's the end of the world if things don't work out between them. That's teen romance in a nutshell. Max literally calls himself a
failure, complete loser. My one chance to impress Roxanne and I blew it.
It's so easy to take high school romance seriously when it's as popularized as it is nowadays. When I look back, I am so glad that I didn't get into a relationship in high school. Once you get older, you realize that it's overhyped beyond comprehension. The majority of girls aren't mature enough to be loyal, and most guys have this disease called one-itis, meaning just because the hottest girl in the school didn't like them, it means their whole life is a failure. I swear it's so toxic. So yeah, throughout the movie, Max has the worst case of one-itis. He tries way too hard to impress her, which ultimately gets himself into trouble with the principal, who does his best to convince Goofy that Max is a rotten kid that needs to be raised better. Goofy responds to this claim by planning a road trip with his son to spend some quality time with him. When I mean plan, I mean he literally sets everything up the same exact day without warning. When Max gets home, his worst nightmare hits him like a bag full of bricks.
A vacation, son! We'll spend some real quality time together.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
I mean, I get the intent, but in Max's defense, his dad could have at least given him a heads up a few days prior. To say, yeah, out of nowhere, we're going across the country for a fishing trip, don't really give that much of a damn if you had plans or not, is pretty inconsiderate. Throughout the movie, Goofy has this attachment problem to his son. I don't want this video to turn into some guide on how to be a good father, but I think it's important to mention two common issues with certain types of parents. Either they don't show enough love towards their child and that child will ultimately suffer because of it, or they show so much love to the point where they become overly attached and try way too hard to receive the same type of affection back. In my opinion, there should be a middle ground, a balance. Other parents take a different approach and rely on discipline strategies such as yelling, punishing, or physical discipline. My job isn't to say which strategy is right or wrong, but I will say this idea that parents aren't supposed to be friends with their child and they better respect them or else they're bad kids who need to be taught a painful lesson, I think is a very outdated belief, and I like how this movie explores that dilemma real-life parents face. Goofy takes a more loving and understanding approach, but he still faces problems. Max only thinks about himself, and because of his new popularity, he becomes spoiled and takes the little things for granted.
Hey, what the heck you trying to do?
Trying to get away from you. This is the stupidest vacation! You drive me from home, you jam me in this dumb car, then drive 1,000,000 miles away to see some stupid rat show! Call me when the trip's over.
They both have to realize the holes in their character, and moments like these where they're both yelling at one another is a great way to reveal them. What helps any relationship grow is brutal honesty, which is what most people try to avoid. Honesty about how you feel about yourself, and honesty about how you feel about someone else needs to be explored, otherwise it's always going to feel fake and not genuine. If you don't love your parents, or anyone for that matter, that is okay. But it's important to figure out why that is, instead of trying to ignore it and pretend like everything's fine all the time. True love is not about what you say or what you think you should say. It's about what you genuinely feel.
I was only trying to take my boy fishing, okay?
I'm not your little boy anymore, Dad. I've grown up. I've got my own life now.
I know that. I just wanted to be part of it.
Once the truth is expressed, that's when the relationship can take off. Not only does this improve the relationship between Max and his dad, but it also cures his one-itis for Roxanne. Now, I personally would not recommend trusting a Disney movie for romance, but if you are by any chance in high school and there's somebody you like, please just be honest with them. Don't play any cringy texting games or try so hard to impress them. Either tell them how you feel or just let it go. And if they don't return the same affection, please don't act like it's the end of the world. Take the rejection like a man and don't take things so seriously, which I believe is the main message these writers wanted to express. You don't have to try so hard. Stop trying so hard to be a good parent. Stop trying so hard to be liked by everyone. Stop trying so hard to have things go your way. Appreciate the little things in life, and that's when peace can be found. Laugh all your pains away like they're goofy.